Welcome everyone back to this edition of Match Analysis. I am not even going to take a single moment from our esteemed guest today and the expert Shirish Nadkarni to jump and dive straight into the analysis of the match we have all just witnessed. And we had been waiting for um, some news from the Lakshya Sen camp and a slight disappointment. However, it was a great match to watch. Like we were just talking off air, a match between a lot of experience and a match between really fresh pair of legs. I'm going to give it up to Shirish Nadkarni ji to take it from here.
Hi everyone. I'm still in shock. I haven't seen Lakshya Sen play this badly for a long time. After seeing his first match against Risto Popov in the Danish Open, Denmark Open, I expected much more of him against Vittinghus, especially because in the only other match that they've played before, he had lost in 3 games after winning the first game. And the same thing happened today. He won the first game.
Yes.
He played like a sleepwalker in the second. He played like a sleepwalker in the first half of the third, made up quite a bit of ground, but was tactically lacking today. I don't think he played a tactically good game.
Was something really off? Like, did he just have an off day today? It just didn't seem like he was himself, even when we walked on court today.
Are you speaking of Lakshya Sen? If you
Yes.
saw the beginning of the match, the first few points, you saw the speed with which he was hitting, following up to the net and finishing off the rally.
Yes.
I thought, Vittinghus was in there for a torrid time because he had said Vittinghus had declared before the match to one of the commentators that he hoped to win in 2 games, if at all. He was not likely to last the third game because he's 34. Lakshya Sen
Yes.
is 19. He's fresh.
Yes.
But, he has surprised all of us. Take no credit away from Vittinghus. Take no credit away.
He played an incredible game today. Definitely, his play was. There was so much aggression, so much more power, so much more agility to his game compared to, I think, what Lakshya was. I think he was kind of defending far more than he was, offensive with his game today.
No, Lakshya lost at 2 spots. First, he played a tactically poor game. Second, he played poorly at the net. He was never dominant at the net, and the net is the place where you win your singles. You have to either control the shuttle. You saw Srikanth earlier. He played a much better net game today than he had played yesterday. How
Yes.
he catches the shuttle higher, then he can either dribble it or he can flick it back with the same action. Whereas Lakshya Sen was catching the shuttle much lower. Vittinghus was always on top of the net. And
Yes.
Lakshya had one excellent stroke, the overhead cross-court smash. If you saw, he was jumping. That is actually Srikanth's best weapon. Jumping
Yes.
sideways and hitting the shuttle down. He got several points in the first game with that. But he did not change his game to take care of the drift against him in the second game. He was completely at sea against the drift. There was
Yes.
one side, the way the shuttle was moving away on his backhand side
Yes.
in the second game. That drift was pretty diabolic, and he could not control it at all. And Vittinghus, it was home conditions for him, but still take nothing away from him. He played with a lot of guts, played with adrenaline, and he got so many shuttles back. Lakshya tried hammering the shuttle down any number of times, but
Yes.
Vittinghus' defense was very, very good. And at the end, one felt that Lakshya was slightly more tired than Vittinghus, instead of it being the other way around.
I'm going to add a few callers in to take this conversation forward and see whether we all are of the same viewpoints today.
Might I ask one question?
Yes,
Does
Raj.
anyone know how badly these people's training schedules were affected by some nonsense currently going on in the world?
I don't get the question, Rajan.
How badly? When did these guys come back to training? And also, let's also remember
Right, right, right,
that
right.
that the
We had a complete lockdown situation all over India for the first 4 months of the pandemic. That is late March, April, May, June, and a little bit of July. And it was in July that the Gopikan Badminton Academy reopened, and also the Prakash Padukone Badminton Association, Prakash Padukone Badminton Academy at the Center of Excellence in Bangalore. Center of Sporting Excellence in Bangalore. It reopened in mid-July, so work from there. They've had about 3 months, I would say, to August to
also,
September to October.
let's also remember that this is the first competitive match most of these guys or tournament that these guys are playing since March, the All England.
That's correct.
And it's a big ask, isn't it, to come back sort of rusty right into a super series? Okay, not that big a deal, this one, because the Japanese aren't present.
No, the Japanese are here. The Chinese are not here. The Chinese have pulled out.
Momota and company, I'm talking about.
Oh, you're talking about the men players. Because
Yeah.
among the women, you've got Nozomi Okuhara playing. But among the men, you have Nishimoto playing. You have Kenta Nishimoto playing.
Nishimoto.
You have Tsumeyama playing. You don't have Momota. Momota pulled out for reasons I am not very sure about. But that's not the point. The point is that Lakshya should have played a different game against this.
He played a superior first game.
Yes.
And then he went to pieces.
But even there, if you notice, he was down until about, he got 8 of the last 9 points, if I remember right. Vittinghus was leading 14-12, I think. And then from there, 14-11. And then from there, Lakshya just stepped on the gas pedal and went to 21-15. But he didn't look convincing for that little part. He was very convincing at the beginning of the game. But he didn't look convincing after the change of ends. Change of ends was at 11-10. And there, Vittinghus was looking better, in fact. So, as I said, I think today experience triumphed over youth in no uncertain manner.
Yeah. So, one more thing to say, just to take the discussion right from the start. In the previous discussion, you mentioned that Vittinghus, 34-year-old, will play a 19-year-old, but it definitely didn't look the same way as in the first game. It was going even Steven still the 14 point, but after that,
Yes.
Lakshya ran over Vittinghus and ended 21-15.
Yes.
But in the second game, it was 8. Vittinghus was 8-0 up, eventually winning the game 21-7, a huge margin.
Yeah. What seems to have happened is because he was 11-3 up at the interval, I think Lakshya found the leeway too much to make up. And also he was very uncomfortable with the drift. The shuttle kept going out along his backhand side and he couldn't control it for whatever reason. And he decided to let it go and concentrate his energies on the third game. But then his start of the third game was equally poor. So I think Vittinghus was up 6-love, even in the third game. And I was wondering when Lakshya is going to start putting a little bit of pressure on this old Dane.
Yes, and at halfway mark of the third game, they were 11-9. So not much of a difference, but second half was the difference which actually clinched it for Vittinghus.
At the second half of the third game saw only 2 to 3 points from the halfway stage, that is 2 to 3 points separating the two antagonists. But Lakshya was always behind. He was never leading at the second half, in the second half of the decider. And therefore, I felt he played under a lot of mental pressure. Whereas Vittinghus, having nothing to lose and, not even being sure himself of being able to last the entire distance, just went all out and he played on pure adrenaline. I really, really admired the way he took on this youngster, 15 years his junior, and taught him a lesson which will stand Lakshya in good stead later on.
Definitely. And so how do you see Indian participation now? It is just to Kidambi Srikanth. So only hope is Kidambi Srikanth. How do you see Indian fight in this Denmark Open?
Tomorrow, Srikanth runs into Chu Tien Chen of Chinese Taipei, who is the second seed in the tournament, but the de facto top seed because Momota has withdrawn at the last minute. So there is nobody in the top half of the draw. The bottom half is very heavily stacked. Srikanth, being the number 5 seed, is meeting Chow in the in the last quarter of the draw, in the quarterfinals tomorrow. And his record against Chu Tien Chen is not very good. Chow had an extremely good 2019. He was either winning or in the finals of 8 events, and that is a lot. Whereas Srikanth didn't have a single title, let alone the title. He reached only one semi-final, and his entire year last year was a dead loss, quite a disaster. And I don't know whether he has fully recovered from that knee injury which he had picked up during the French Open in 2017, which he won. So the portents for tomorrow's quarterfinal match between Srikanth and Chu Tien Chen don't look too good from the Indian point of view. Sorry to say, but that's how it is. But I was wrong today. I expected Lakshya Sen to win, and he did not win. And he was beaten by a veteran and given a lesson in tactics. So maybe if Srikanth can pull out the rabbit out of a hat tomorrow, maybe we can see a different result.
But actually, Lakshya gave us hopes after pulling off the first game when it was going even Stevens and having the last laugh. But after that, it was just Vittinghus who actually pulled it back from Lakshya Sen.
If you saw the body language of the two players, Vittinghus was always gung-ho, whereas you saw generally slumped shoulders on the part of Lakshya Sen. Would you agree with that, Mr. Mida, Rajan? You've muted your mic, so you need to unmute it.
In the meantime...
yeah, we can hear you now.
Right. I was going to say the boy needs to work on his body language.
Exactly what I said. Exactly what I said.
Yeah.
The shoulders slumped, and even striding about the court was not the positive body language that we want to see in a winner.
There, you have an expert comment from Mr. Rajan Mida, who is a very fine player from Mumbai originally, but has been in the UK for the last, I think, something like 40 years. Close to 40 years, 39 years.
Yeah, thereabouts.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, and please keep joining till 18th of October, as the show will run till the Denmark.
I'm actually working or attempting to work whilst speaking with you all, so please do excuse my looking away and writing stuff.
That must be a major change from your daily routine. Huh? You're working, actually.
Correct, but this is a really busy period, self-inflicted, but it has to be done.
Yeah, well, it's nice that you've been coming in.
Yes. So,
anything else that you would like to dwell on, Utkarsh?
I want to know what was the turning point. If you could pick one out of whole match, what was the turning point for you?
I don't know. When they changed courts for the second game, the match turned at that point. Finished. End of the story. I couldn't see a specific turning point in either the second or the third game. It's just when they changed courts, and this on the one side against the drift, when Lakshya could not control the shuttle, he appeared to be a dead duck.
Okay,
So
sorry.
I'd like to come in here with a question and ask you, at this level, at an international platform that you are, the awareness of the drifts, the awareness of the change of sides, the awareness of change of play due to change of court, um, is also at that highest level. It's not a rookie who's gone in and played and does not know that your courts are going to change, or the drift is going to change, and so how do you explain this kind of play? Is it pressure? Is it a tournament nerve? What is it? What kind of gets to a player of that class to kind of be unable to adapt, if that's what we can call it?
I would say this, that I think it was lack of rhythm. In 2019, the entire year, Lakshya Sen played well enough he participated in something like 14 or 15 events, and improved his ranking from outside the top 100 to something like 29, and has come within a possible within a chance of even getting into the Olympics. If he can get into the top 16 before the Olympic dates are cut off. There's a cutoff point. I think it'll come sometime in March or April. All the tournaments until then, if he can get his ranking up to within 16, then he and Sai Praneeth would be our representatives for the Olympics. And Srikanth, who is at the moment on 22nd position, is in danger of missing the cut. Now, the question you asked me was, how come he did not adapt to the drift if he's been playing so many tournaments? To give him a little bit of leeway, I would say it's this 6 to 7 month absence from tournament play that is the major culprit, because he was in rhythm last year, and during that time he was able to adapt to the problems of court drift, cross drift, court drift, or from one side to the other drift. I saw several matches where he adapted pretty well. But today he was all at sea against the drift. So, those lessons learned last year may have been forgotten during this 6 to 7 month period. So we should give the youngster a little bit of leeway on this. These things come with experience. Vittinghus has played so many years, I think something like 16 or 17 years on the circuit. And this is one of his home tournaments, you can say. He's not from Odense, that is Victor Axelsen's hometown, but he's from Denmark. So to play in the Denmark Open and to reach the quarterfinal, which has always been his aim, he's never reached the quarterfinal before. That was a point that Gillian Clark made during the commentary, that he's been trying hard every year to make the quarterfinals, but he hasn't been able to. So, but this, which may be one of his last international tournaments, he's made the quarterfinals of his home tournament. And that's a great achievement. And all you can say is applaud the man, applaud the veteran. 34-year-old legs taken care of 19-year-old legs.
Yes, so I guess if we have to conclude in any way today, it is going to be what you say, that experience over
youth.
What can we say? Youth,
yeah, it is youth. He's a teenager still. He's 19.
Yes.
Just one more thing. We have Ayushi with us who would want to ask, but before that, I will ask a question that Vittinghus played many cross-court shots which were not that well defended by Lakshya Sen. What's your thought on that?
Lakshya is an attacking player, basically. His forte is the attack. And he found that Vittinghus was defending pretty stoutly. And you create an opening by dribbling at the net, by fooling around at the net. And you create an opening at the net, either by flicking the shuttle or by keeping it tight and forcing the opponent to lift. In this particular aspect, Vittinghus was streets ahead of Lakshya Sen today. Therefore, he was mainly in charge of the rallies, and therefore he was on the aggression more than Lakshya Sen was. Lakshya was forced to hit from the baseline, And from the baseline, when you hit, if there is an opponent with a decent defense, that shuttle is going to come back. This is the problem. Lakshya almost never got a shuttle in midcourt to finish off. He was hitting from the back and trying to rush the net and finish off the second one in case it came just above the net. But if the return was flat and it was close to the net, he was floundering. So I feel, yes, he needs to improve his defense. He needs to occasionally play a defensive game against somebody who's also got a good attack. I think Vimal Kumar needs to work on Lakshya Sen a lot more. This would be a good lesson for the youngster. This is what I feel.
Okay. So now from the viewers, Mr. Rajan and Ayushi, I'll want if any question you have. Otherwise, we'll wrap up.
Hi, sir. Hello, everyone. So I had a question. We have seen Lakshya performing well and performing poor. What do you see? What will be his future? What according to you is going to happen?
Before this program, in the first half of the program, I stuck my neck out and made a prediction that Lakshya Sen, in my opinion, is today the #1 player in India, ahead of Sai Praneeth, ahead of Srikanth, ahead of HS Pranoy. And like I said, I stuck my neck out. Today, unfortunately, Lakshya Sen saw fit to make sure that I got a kick in the neck. But I still maintain that of all the players that we have on the bench, I mean, he's now the next generation coming up. So he's more bench strength than our main players in the Thomas Cup are Kidambi Srikanth, Sai Praneeth, HS Pranoy, Samir Verma, and Saurabh Verma. Now, Lakshya Sen has come up in the last 1 year and he's broken into the top 30. So he is the future of badminton. It is something like he is the equivalent of PV Sindhu after Saina Nehwal started going slowly down. If I can make an analogy that way.
Right. Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome. Any other point? Mr. Mida, have you shot your bolt? He's still muted.
Well, it's been great listening to all you very knowledgeable badminton aficionados. I shall hope to catch you on the next one. Tomorrow, what time are we talking
We're
about?
looking
8
at beginning 8 p.m. IST tomorrow.
8 p.m. That is
3:30 in the afternoon, your time.
Okay. I shall attempt to. I can't promise because I'm a bit busy. I might dart in and out of this forum.
Thank you so much for coming.
You have always been darting in and out of the badminton courts over the last 50 years, so I'm not surprised.
Don't give all my secrets away, Shirish.
Take care, Rajan. Take care. Over to you, Sonali.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, and all of you for watching and interacting with our expert Shirish Nadkarni today, and us, Utkarsh and me at Go Beyond Sports. Do continue to log in, like, and subscribe to Go Beyond Sports across all platforms. We will be back tomorrow evening for match day analysis, once again at 8 p.m. Do log in and stay tuned. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.